Okay, guys. So AEW Double or Nothing was an incredible and amazing show. Uh I looked forward to watching a great weekend of professional wrestling. I enjoyed what AEW did very much. Um, Saturday night's lame event. Yeah, I said it, lame event. Um, this R-Truth thing of him trying to help turn Cena back to the old Cena. I saw something in John. I saw him. A 53-year-old overgrown child. They have him playing a retarded role. Like I said before, why is a 53-year-old man still playing an overgrown child role? Why? Why? It is what it is. He's going along with it. It's his life, his career. But this was a freaking wasted time to me. Um, you know, um, Cody Rhodes coming out. When Cena came out and attacked, Jey Uso, and when he comes out, and it's like the Logan Paul match. Um, you know, Nothing happened on the main event that I even really cared about. It just really it just nothing happened. Nothing really happened. Um, the matches were just matches that just happened, and that was that. Let me say this too. I'm not shocked. Now, I wasn't feeling the main event. I watched the replay of WWE Battlegrounds. Yes, this past weekend. When I look, people. I never was crazy about NXT, but NXT is becoming more and more of a stable of just children, man. Like this is what I feel like I'm watching, a bunch of children. Um, I watched it. I just wasn't into it. Um, I watched Jordan Grace, get her ass kicked by Stephanie right here. I told you guys. I listen. I watched Under Siege, TNA. I wish I could have enjoyed everything. Now, when I say that, I'm not walking around here mad and punching in the air like my man from Boys in the Hood after the cops was fucking with him. No, I'm just saying those shows were weak. I'm not even going to go through the breakdown. I already did a video about. I loved AEW Double or Nothing. I loved it. I already did a video on that. Now let me say, when I speak to you guys, I'm not speaking from a space of hate. I'm not speaking to you guys just to say things, just to say it. If I don't say. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And I told you guys, look at Jordan Grace's ovation when she came out at the Royal Rumble. Look at her ovation when she came out for the first time on NXT, as opposed to now. She get these little lukewarm ovations when she come out. That was Jordan. Okay, anyway. So yeah, what y'all doing tomorrow, man? They're not even paying attention to her. And the fact of the matter is, I told you, the fact that they stuck her on NXT and they keep coming with this bullshit about we have the best women's roster in wrestling. Yeah, a fucking developmental group. Y'all can believe that bullshit if you want to, but she loses to Stephanie. Jordan Grace was a monster in TNA. She was a fucking boss in TNA. Jordan's going to kill you, Chance. You fucked up, Chance. Is she getting that now? No. Now They've slayed the dragon. The ovation isn't the same. Only thing you can say is, oh, she's a part of WWE. That's it. And she loses. When she was TNA champion, she lost to Roxanne Perez. But she cheated, so what? I told you, the WWE had their eyes on her and Joe Hendry. You guys, with this mentality, I was just glad to say I was there. Right. This motherfucker comes out, Joe Hendry. He comes out at WrestleMania. He gets embarrassed by Randy Orton. Embarrassed. How long was the match? I think his ring walk was longer than the match. How will he come do his little stupid turnaround and smile? And then got his ass kicked, got patted in the ass like a little kid, hand raised, and then got RKO. Made a buffoon out of him, right? I told you guys, man, WWE does this kind of goofy shit. Now, Trick Williams is an up-and-comer, and he goes in there. He defeats Joe Hendry, takes the TNA title. The TNA champion is right now a fucking prospect. A fucking prospect. I told you Joe Hendry's a joke. TNA is a fucking joke. I told you this. TNA has lost its identity. The commentary was saying, what does this do for TNA if they lose the world champion to an outsider? What does this, right? But Kenny Omega had the belt when and Kenny Omega is a world now established wrestling general. So Moose lost to a wrestling general who lost to another wrestling general and Christian Cage. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? And so when he was a part of TNA, they had a general. Oh, TNA is doing better with WWE. Yeah, believe that shit if you want to. At the end of the day, check this out. Moose loses to Zilla Fatu at Fourth Row Wrestling. Do you understand what I'm saying? While he's holding the X Division title. Masha Slamovich is the woman who beat Jordan Grace. Is the woman who was at one time getting just as loud a cheer as Jordan Grace. She comes out now to these almost lukewarm ovations. Well, she's wrestling the other day, and she's on a team with, what's the chick name? The kickboxer, what's her name? The chunky chick. She's getting less cheers. They're barely reacting to anything Masha Slamovich is doing. And this is the TNA Women's Champion. This is the Knockouts Champion. Yet, here's an NXT wrestler getting more cheers than her. And what's weird, on TNA programming, the crowd is chanting NXT, NXT. Wasn't it Tiffany Lyons or some shit? Yeah. She comes out and they're reacting to her. They're cheering for her, but they're barely reacting to Masha Slamovich. TNA has lost its identity. And this whole little, collaboration with NXT, there's nothing that TNA is doing on their own that the TNA audience even care about. They've lost their way. They've lost their identity, and their audience don't even know what the fuck they should be cheering for. So this Tiffany Lyons, or whatever her name is, something like whatever. This was just weird, man. It was the two of them. This Lyons chick, let's just go Lyons. I don't remember if her first name is Tiffany or whatever, but her and Masha versus, you guys remember Alicia Fox. So she's now going in, well, her real name, I guess, is Victoria Crawford. And it was her and Tessa. And this was a silly ass match. And you know what's starting to happen? The same repetitive shit. Every time something happens in TNA, Santino Marella comes out, the little badge around his neck. No, wait a minute. This match is going to restart. The people come to pay good money to see a proper finish. And then this other guy comes out. I forgot what his name was. Robbie E. Yeah, Robbie E. He comes out. It's like, I don't know. Somehow his position is higher than Santino's. But he comes out and they don't restart the match, which was stupid because the match ended. Bottom line is, even when injustice is done, when somebody a disqualification, whatever what happened, and he wants to restart the match, it just wasn't even no need to restart the match, and it didn't. But it's getting played out. It's the same thing every time, man. It's the same thing. Santino comes out to so-called uphold the law, and I'm just like, I'm watching this shit, and I swear to you, man, Under Siege. It's just something about the feel in TNA right now. It doesn't feel premium. It just feels cheap. It just feels like I'm watching it. It's like cringe. I'm watching TNA and I'm just like, wow, this is not the same fucking company. Here's the sad part: TNA shows a lot of this stuff from their library. Go look at the stuff that they show when Kurt Angle was there and Sting and all these. And it's like, what the fuck happened to TNA? It's not even entertaining, man. And you know what? It's like, not to be cliche, but a lot of people always think the grass is green on the other side. But now people are coming to me going, "Yo, Aries, you were right, man. Jade Cargill is nothing but a fucking just another wrestler in WWE." I went back, like you said, and started watching her in AEW, man. I'm like, she was a boss in AEW. She's nothing now. Even her attitude, I'm like, I told you that. This is exactly what I told you. She was like what Megan Bain is right now. Not anymore. She's a diva now. Smiling, attitude, doing all this shit, and everything now is like just like it's like this is something that the WWE has been known to do for years. Back in the day, Matt Bourne. I used to like watching Matt Bourne wrestle over in other territories and shit and all. And all of a sudden, Matt Bourne comes to the WWE as Doink the Clown. Just different people. Bastion Booger. Used to be Norman the Lunatic. I didn't like the Norman the Lunatic character either, but Bastion Booger, Man Mountain Rock, they would take people. Rick the Model Martel. Rick Martel was one of the best wrestlers in the world when he was in AEWA with Kurt Hennig, Nick Bockwinkel, Jerry Lawler, and they bring him in with this model bullshit. Kurt comes with the Mr. Perfect thing, and Kurt was more known for getting bounced all over the ring by everybody more so than his wins, man. All the shit, the fake shit, him throwing the ball backwards and making shots and all this kind of stuff. And that's what they've always been doing. They were more focused on that type of shit. But I can at least say there was times, man, when they had some really good matches. Now it's like the matches it's like let's put some drama in it. Let's put some bullshit there. But the matches are nothing to really remember. I mean, basically, if I want to see just stories and no action, I'll just watch soap operas, and I don't like soap operas. So I like the more adult approach to the storylines than it's like, example, if you were watching the build up to Double or Nothing, Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page talking about why they both need this match, and they're talking about their past and things that happened with different wrestlers, and like the stories are being told, and the build up just had everybody into it because they're trying to achieve the same goal, but coming from two different backgrounds with it and coming from two different directions with it. And it was just entertaining, and it was, bam. I'm not with all of this. Let's come out every fucking week for fucking, 6-7 fucking months and just keep saying the same things over and over. And we already know what's going to be said. We know what happened. We know this. We know that. Like, come on. Yeah, and I'm just watching what was going on. And one of the things that I love, Tony Khan was asked a question at the media scrum. And I love how he answered that question. You see, it's something wrong with people. A lot of you are filled with hate. ignorance, racism, and just sheer stupidity. And you say the dumbest shit and don't even realize it. You think in your mind, because you got the right to be an asshole, that people are going to accept you and your nonsense. But no. Why is it that you guys try to pretend you don't see that the WWE purposely was trying to stack up the weekend, trying to stack up the pay-per-views, trying to make it back to back? They thought they were going to hurt AEW. They're not hurting AEW at all. And even in doing so, with all of this moving around, and AEW still beat NXT in the ratings again. Yeah. So with all of that, it didn't matter, did it? And it still didn't boost Raw's ratings. It still didn't boost SmackDown's ratings. They lost ratings again. So they didn't do any harm at all to AEW. And the guy, one of the reporters asked Tony Khan, he said, how do you feel about WWE purposely stacking up their pay-per-views and trying to put everything in to go head-to-head to, what you guys got going on? Tony Khan smiled and he said, well, that's definitely been going on. He said, last time I remember that happening was back in the Crockett days. And let me tell you something. WWE was known for trying to block WCW from taking Nitro or Thunder to Madison Square Garden. Purposely, they were always anything. They try to keep everything booked so they could go anywhere else but not Madison Square Garden. They will always try to have it booked. This was on purpose. Now, do you think a person, a company, people, we're not worried about AEW. We don't even see them as competition. Yeah, bullshit. You're so unbothered by them that you purposely are trying to block their program. You can't block their programming. Your audience is your audience. AEW's audience is AEW's audience. A true AEW fan isn't going to watch WWE over AEW, plain and simple. And the reality is they did all of that and they looked desperate. Just like the bots that they tried to use to, cancel their show a half hour early, and then all of a sudden, was it Black Adam, the Black Adam movie? Like everything, all these little dirty attempts, it's desperation. Triple H telling talent, no, I'm not going to let you out of your contract so you go run the AEW. Oh, yeah, all of these things. Oh, Vince McMahon, when he was, he said the only people he sees as competition is like Disney. There was no AEW at the time. And in fact, like I told you guys, Vince McMahon, out of his own mouth, on his own video, said he was actually terrified at one point that Nitro was starting to destroy them in the ratings, that he thought, they might wind up putting us out of business. Yeah, that came out of his mouth. So if you guys are that dumb to think that a company is going out of their way to try to, look, we knowing everything with AEW, right? Wednesday, Saturday, and then whatever pay-per-view is going to happen, right? So it doesn't matter if they end up moving Collision to Thursday for a week, for that a particular week, because they got a pay-per-view coming. No, it's not because WWE's putting it. Fuck Saturday night's main event. Fuck all these other shit that's going on. It's business and it's a monopoly. But they couldn't checkmate them. But I like how Tony Khan answered that. He said, yeah, it's, I can't remember that happening. Last time it was with the Crockett's. He said, but I can assure you, I promise you, it'll be a whole different outcome. And I'm like, there you go. There you go. Because you see, one thing that Vince McMahon always had, and what the WWE always had up their sleeve, was being able to pay wrestlers more than any other company was willing to pay them. Now, WCW, Ted Turner had the money, definitely to pay. He could not pay anything Ted was going to pay. It was whether Ted was willing to or not. Okay? But at the same time, and Ted Turner didn't really understand wrestling. He was just the one with the deep pockets. But once WCW went away, why wasn't they really worried about TNA? Because TNA wasn't owned by a freaking multi-billionaire. TNA didn't have the financial backing that he had. And basically, same thing. Okay, when is Samoa Joe career? When is his contract up? Oh, when is this guy AJ Styles contract up? So all of these different people, See, if their ratings would have just automatically, the money starts coming in where it's just, then now he starts to hit the panic button then. But it never happened for TNA. You see, so when Tony Khan, along with the Bucks and Cody, did what they did, yeah, you could be a fool and think, oh, they wasn't even, yeah, they're worried. Yeah, they're concerned. They see the resilience. They've acquired AAA. They're working closely with TNA. What the fuck do y'all not understand? And all this desperate shit that they're doing. It doesn't hurt AEW. Not even a little bit. So, if this was a guy that cared about professional wrestling and not just his company or any of them, first off, Tony Khan has never told his audience to fuck off. And Tony Khan doesn't do racist shit. He doesn't play into that racist shit. And Tony Khan doesn't he doesn't even bring up WWE. He doesn't bring them up. Every time you turn around, somebody from WWE is saying something about AEW. It's sheer frustration. And the wrestlers can say what they want, but as soon as WWE give them the boot, where the hell do you think they're going to try to go run to? Because when you look at where else there is, like somebody was talking about Bayley going to TNA. Bayley's not going to go to TNA. If Bayley leaves WWE, she's going to try to, if anything, cut a deal with Tony Khan and try to come to AEW. That's a step down. That's like a huge step down for Bayley. First of all, TNA doesn't even have a full female roster. Two, it's not like she's going to be working, with a SmackDown or a Raw women's wrestlers. She's going to be working with these fucking up and coming, these little prospects and up and comers in NXT. The pay scale will be way different, and Bayley's not younger. Okay, she's like 37, 38 years old now. So, do you think she want to go to TNA and work for way less money with a bunch of wrestlers that nobody really care about? No. She'd rather go to AEW where the notoriety is there and she can contribute to TNA still doesn't even get like 100,000 subscribe views. They're still they TNA is not in any better of a position than they were before. And especially now, there's nobody in TNA that they feel they have belief and faith in that they can do anything for the company to take them to another level. The belt is gone to an NXT wrestler, a fucking, like I said, a prospect, and Trick Williams. And this is what the master plan was. This is what was supposed to blow our fucking socks off, that an NXT prospect is going to come and beat Joe Hendry and become the TNA World Champion. And what's supposed to happen? Well, you know what? They might be trying to get a streaming deal for NXT. NXT might be trying. Yeah, all that shit could be true. But I guarantee you, when people watch the product and see what's going on, because Access TV is not a popular station, if that was to even happen, so what? I'm not here. I'm not sitting here like looking at it like, nah, TNA fell off. But they fell off bad. You look at the NXT roster, right? Wait, is her name Nikita Lyons? I think it's Nikita Lyons. I said Tiff. I wasn't sure. The Tiffany part didn't say. I think it's Nikita. Yeah, Nikita Lyons. But yeah, look at TNA's roster. Look at their roster, man. You know who get the loudest cheer out of everybody? Yeah, Jeff Hardy. The guy that's way past his prime and up in age. Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. Joe Hendry, and him too. But there's no, Brian and Nick Nemeth are now heels, so they don't get that type of ovation. But they don't have anything going in TNA where you really care. Do you remember any TNA storylines right now? Do you remember? What matches are happening that you even care about? Nothing. last storyline I remember, truthfully, is the X Division shit where they're talking about Moose is afraid. They finally found something Moose is afraid of. He's afraid of heights and all this, whatever. It's like, all right, this is what they came up with. Moose is afraid of heights. All right, cool. Like I said, the X Division used to be the so-called, pillar of TNA. There's nothing happening in the X Division that anybody cares about. And the crazy part about it is not even an X Division. They don't even have enough wrestlers to call it a division. So they went from saying it's not about weight limits, it's about no limits, to who's fighting for this belt? Who really cares? And 10 times out of 10 is a bunch of little guys. But because you get a big guy that can move, that can, add something to the division, and bring some power to the division and can move a little, and, now all of a sudden it's about no limits. Nobody cares about that shit. And the thing about it, the X Division is just a different way of saying cruiserweight. And we have a match designed called, what you call that shit? Ultimate X. But the division itself, where's the hype? Where's the prestige of the title? Nobody cares. And this is why when people all of a sudden, they just love this merger between NXT and TNA. Why? What changed? Like, what actually happened? Nothing. And then the one thing, I see this guy Brunson Reed, I see the Jeff Cobbs, and I'm noticing they'll take a big fat slob of a wrestler and try to make them deadly. Or they'll take some scrawny motherfucker like a golfer, right? And isn't it funny, because I was watching somebody play 2K25 the other day, and one of the opponents came in the ring dressed just like a fucking golfer. Motherfucker got the shorts, the white shoes, the socks, the cap on with the little scarf around and everything. And I'm like, because that's exactly what it looks like, like what they do. But then they take somebody that look like money, look like this guy, look like a champion. No, and they shit on those guys. And then I'm sitting up here like, you know what's funny, man? When you give a wrestler character, right? Look at Arthur and Sheikah. Look at the Wild Samoans. Look at that lineage, right? I know it's a different day and time. Look at Rikishi. Okay? But I'm willing to guarantee you, if you go through Samoa, ain't nobody walking around talking about, yeah, motherfucker, Lord Jamar got criticized and ridiculed for that shit. Yeah, man. I'm all gas, no brakes. Like, bro, that's not y'all slang. I don't personally give a fuck. With all of this and all that shaking, all that boogeyman shit, shaking his body, there ain't nothing new. But I'm like, goddamn. It got to the point where if you wasn't looking and you was listening, you think motherfucking the Usos, you think, Jacob Fatu, you think them motherfuckers is black Americans. Tell me when I'm lying. All that, and all the gold teeth, that ain't their shit. Stop coming out with the hip hop shit. That's not their shit. Yeah, like, really? And this is what y'all took Jacob Fatu. I tell you what, when he was in MLW, he didn't really talk. He was mean looking all the time, and whatever. But Jacob Fatu, I'm just saying, man. Everything that I'm watching happening right now is like, the characters are lazy, the wrestling is lazy, the stories are super lazy. But somehow, the immaturity connects with the wrestling audience. Because that's what it is. That's what's connecting. Example, Bobby Lashley is well-spoken. Shelton Benjamin is well-spoken. MVP is well-spoken. Now, we all use some form of slang terminology. But that's why Lord Jamar was getting like, yo, what's all that, yeah, man, shit? Like, no, I don't, yeah, I mean. Just slang, right? Bobby Lashley don't talk like that. MVP show. These guys don't talk like that. The Street Profits had a typical black Israelite type of, always out there talking like they're preaching on like how the guys, preach on the street corners and shit like that. But they kind of, the way they talked was more like the black Israelites, the way they talked. But what I'm saying is like, do you have any black American wrestlers running around hollering out Samoan slang and terms and shit and doing shit that they're accustomed to? I'm just saying, like, where's all this shit coming from? Remember, several months ago when I talked about this, it was funny to me because I said the stereotypes. Like when I was in the same video and I was talking about I never liked Eddie Guerrero's theme song. We lie, we cheat, we steal, right? So that's what Latinos are, a bunch of crooks. Who are we? We lie, we cheat, we stay. Y'all over here clapping and applaud, but not even realize, look at what you're applauding to. And I never liked those stereotypes. But I'm just like, damn, everybody want to talk like black people. They want to put them in a position of, like, that sounds like something a black person. Oh, we're trying to connect him with everybody. We're trying to, okay. John Cena, basic thugonomics. You remember how John Cena first came to the WWE? Okay, so I'm just saying, all the big chain and all of his voice chain, everything. Now all of a sudden he's rhyming, yow, 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 yow. Then all of a sudden he's a Marine, right? Just saying. So they've dabbled at it. Now, Booker T never had a hip hop type of character. He just had a street jive, shit talking type character. Street corner standing up, just talking shit. But it's always the same thing. See, that's why I said, when everything is based on like simple ass gimmicks, like example, right? Hillbilly Jim, dressed like a hillbilly. Haystack Calhoun had the same thing, the suspenders or whatever. They talk, they doing all that yee-haw and woo-ha shit, like, and they talking some redneck type shit. You understand what I'm saying? That's like the go back from way back up to now. It was always a difference. Like if you come from the South versus coming from up north, everybody talk different. So even though we all black, it's a different. We move different. We dress different. We listen to different type of music, different lifestyle. Why when you put people, remember Crime Time, coming out there dancing down to the ring, one leg, sleeve, boots on. See all of this shit, and this is what I'm saying. It's more about trying to connect with bullshit characters instead of people more focused on their craft of wrestling. Give us a nice balance. I can promise you, every black person don't talk like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Yo, you feel me? Yo, I'm over here building with the guards, you know what I mean? Like, we over here, like, I'm on 4th, 5th Street, my man call me, yo, come through, and this is what they will get to put in front of a camera and say, see, he'll connect with the black audience. And I'm just watching what's going on, and I'm like, wow. I don't feel that when I watch AEW. I don't, you understand what I'm saying to you? Characters are characters. I get it. But anything that's supposed to resemble or be a black character, that everything has to be, we talk like we have a fucking 3rd grade education. We're 50 something years old, calling someone 5 years our junior, our childhood idol. We're playing a retarded role. I mean, we know the stupidity. If Dustin Rhodes was in WWE right now, he'd still be, right? Because he got shocked 30 years ago with some stupid shit. This is what I'm talking about. Like the stupid characters. When TNA started doing shit like going into the dead realm and Father Mitchell coming from hell and all this goofy shit, that's when I started to really lose, it was like I started to really slip away from TNA. I know it's bullshit. It's all just an act. We get it. It's just cinematic matches. Like when who was it? Got thrown in one thing, Jeff Hardy, when he went to go pull him up, Shark Boy came up, and we get it. And it was entertaining. We get that. But it gets to the point, man, where it's just like TNA have been known for putting on great wrestling matches. And then it was reduced to only X Division guys with all this flipping around, hopping all over the ring. But where is the creativity for the big guys? Where's the wrestling? And the storylines just started to become more and more synthetic, more watered down, and it was just like, wow, this is what TNA has come to. It's not a wise thing to have a second, third, fourth, fifth place mentality and then work with the company and your top people are losing. Your top people, and they're not even, you understand, even for Joe Hendry to get beat by Randy Orton, the way he got beat was embarrassing. It was disgraceful for TNA and for him. It really was. But all this, Joe Hendry made an appearance, WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble. Yeah, he lost both of the matches. He didn't win shit. Joe Hendry, yeah, he didn't win shit and lost his title, like I said, to a prospect. Guys, TNA is in a position right now. They're the hoe. WWE is the pimp. I don't know how they bounce back from this, where their audience increased. There's more eyes on this product. All of a sudden, I don't know. Now, like I said, if they're trying to work something out to get some type of streaming deal on Tubi or something, whatever, I don't know. But TNA, in all honesty, it just doesn't feel like a premium show. Like I said, it just feels cheap, man. And when I watch it from the commentating on down, I'm like, damn, what the fuck happened to TNA? What happened to TNA? But it's more of a rhetorical question when I say that shit now. I see what's happened to TNA. And one of the biggest problems that TNA is going to have is trying to rebuild their identity without the help of the WWE. Because now, I'm not saying, of course, somebody's going to win the title back, because Trick Williams is not going to Trick Williams is not going to TNA. He's still in, the WWE, of course, but I'm not, of course, somebody's going to win the belt back. But what I'm saying is, we watched you lose Jordan Grace just to go over there and lose to a bunch of fucking up-and-comers. We watched Trick Williams beat your world champion Joe Hendry. Before that, we watched him get embarrassed by Randy Orton. What the fuck does TNA have to offer on their own? What wrestlers do they have that he's badass? He can beat Randy Orton. He can beat John Cena, or he's just as good as who do they have? Who do they have? In fact, if you round it up right now and say, who are the best guys they got? You know what people are going to say? The Hardys and Nick Nemeth. That's what they're going to say. But where's the homegrown talent? What does TNA have that we should be looking forward to seeing? This is what I'm saying. And people just, they don't understand that. They're looking at this shit like, the fact that your wrestlers' faces were seen on a WWE WrestleMania or a Royal Rumble, and you guys are all into this bullshit. That's the problem. Under Siege was underwhelming. This guy, Mustafa Ali, one of the people that was in his corner, came back the same, the whole time I was going, no phone call, no visit, no, okay, right? He comes out, the crowd is completely silent. He throws a punch after he gets in the ring, starts talking, and the fight breaks out, and the crowd is just sitting there like, quiet. Nothing's really going on. And one of the things that TNA had for a long time was their pay-per-views would be solid. And as of late, nah, not the case anymore. I don't know what TNA, whoever is behind what they're doing, I don't know, man. This route that they went, this is their own choice. this is their doing. You know, if you guys remember, they used to do this thing where they would have like a back in the day, like a retro throwback, and they would come out all dressed in like old 70s or 80s theme type wrestling uniforms and like outfits. And they would have a different name and stuff like that. And I can remember WWE fans going, "What kind of trash is this?" and laughing and making fun of them. And they started, I mean, but it's the same fucking thing. If you look at it, they're the same mindset, the same type of matches, the same everything, the production, everything. And I'll tell you what. From a wrestling standpoint, TNA, their matches aren't even really. Their matches haven't even been that impressive. From a entertainment standpoint, it sucks. It is complete garbage. It's not entertaining. From a creative standpoint, I don't understand the direction. I just don't. Because nothing is solid. Nothing. Nothing that they're doing is solid. So now with all this TNA, NXT merger shit and back and forth, and nobody can tell you one fucking TNA storyline. There's no storylines within the merger. It's just different wrestlers popping up, challenging for titles and having matches, and the TNA fans in there chanting NXT to the top of their lungs. Even when it's the bad guys, they're cheering NXT, NXT. Wait, okay, Nikita Lyons comes in and gets more applause and more attention than the Knockouts champion. Masha Slamovich is getting, I mean, people don't like Tessa Blanchard. They genuinely don't like her. They don't want her in TNA. They see that TNA is going with Tessa and they're trying to keep her there. They even have shirts saying they hate me and shit like that and all or whatever. They're trying to like fuck it. They want people to just feel like, hey, if you can't beat them, join them. That's what they're trying to do. Just wave the white flag and give in. Fuck it. Because she's here to stay. And nobody really cares, man. Their product stinks right now. And it has been for a long time. And they have the stink of the WWE written all over it. It's like, bro, you have to find who you are, man. You know, it's just like anything you do. You know, you like to wear nice clothes and nice cologne and all that or whatever, right? Do you go out copying everybody, or do you have your own style? Do you watch him? Oh, I'm gonna dress like him. Or do you have your own style? You know, I don't know what the fuck TNA is doing right now. I don't think any real TNA fan is honest can sit here and disagree and say, nah, that shit is garbage. What they're doing is like, it's just underwhelming. Like they're doing nothing nothing that stands out. Nothing. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, Under Siege was underwhelming. WWE Battlegrounds, I didn't feel it. And like I said, all this trying to, block AEW is not working, but nice try. Saturday night's lame event was not even with, and when I watched Raw last night, I really didn't. I couldn't. I was watching it, honestly, when I was watching Saturday night's main event, after Cena and R-Truth, I just started playing Fight Forever. And then I sat here, me and my son were just playing dominoes, and we were just chilling, and we put another movie on or something. And the Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre match, I sat in my car and just was watching on the phone and found myself drifting. I didn't even, and I said, there's nothing to talk about. I don't want to make a video. I just didn't feel it. And, it was nothing. Raw last night, when I watched it, I just sat there, I looked. I saw the replay of it. I didn't see it live. I woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning. And just let me get a little workout in. Just put it up on the screen and... yeah. there's always next week, right? But I'm watching wrestlers come to AEW. I'm watching transformations. I'm watching different things happen for the better. But then I'm watching people pretend they don't see this garbage that's coming from the other ways, the other directions. And with everybody that's complaining about it to try to, okay, and they got word and they saw what happened. They saw how kick ass Double or Nothing was, and now it's like out of desperation, let's try to find something good to say about WWE without sounding like complete ass clowns themselves, right? Yeah. Um, we're about professional wrestling. We like the whole, the entertainment side of everything. We like it all together. But like I said, we like that balance. And that's what AEW has. So I don't know where these retards, every fucking body that address a question says, I love the storyline between Tony Storm and such and such. The storyline between this one and that one. The storyline, well, in this storyline, what happens when this and that, and somehow WWE retards don't see storylines. They in AEW, they don't understand it's different. It's not this cartoon shit. You remember wrestlers like Fandango used to come out, they dancing and all that shit. This is the type of shit y'all want to see AEW doing. You guys want to see people come in there, like Becky Lynch, for example. What I tell you guys when she first came back, I said Becky Lynch is going to go back to doing this. Every time Becky Lynch has a hiatus and come back, she always comes back like somebody owes her something. She's so pissed off. She has unfinished business. It's always the same shit. It's always the same thing. Somebody owes her something. Then all of a sudden, they all do the same thing. Come back, I did this, I did that, I won this, and I did that. Before you even wrestling, I did this, and it's always the same thing. So now, if she loses to this bird chick, she'll never wrestle for the title again. It's like, okay, but it's the same thing. It's always the same thing. There's no real story. One of the oldest movies. Movie came out before I was even born. But I love this movie to this day. Was Cooley High. You know what I noticed about Cooley High? There's no story. But the movie was good. It was basically just things happening on a day-to-day basis in these young teenager lives. But there was no real story. There was just things that happened. Do you know people was like, no, I had a story. What was the story? And it's like, because he wanted to be a poet and this one wanted to do that and he wanted to play. Yeah, that's the characters they played. That's what they wanted. What's the overall story? There's no story in this movie. All of a sudden, the guy that played Cochise, last month, I think it was, did an interview, a recent interview, and he said, what the fuck I said. There was no real story to the movie. Do you understand? But it was a good movie. Case in point, every match is not going to have a story necessarily. But when there is a story, and it's not some long, drawn out, this stupid ass, childish shit, it's like WWE fans don't consider it a story then. It has to be some bullshit. If it's not a story. Okay. It is what it is. But, yeah. Just like WrestleMania weekend, AEW saved the fucking weekend with fucking Dynamite and Collision. They did it again with Double or Nothing. And leading up to it, Dynamite and Collision was solid once again. And hey, all the hate don't change anything, man. But you know what? It is what it is. Y'all keep sitting around waiting for some magic to happen in the WWE. For some reason, like I said, you guys love to say professional wrestling. No, it's just the one company. Okay? The one company. Don't try to put that shit stain on AEW just because WWE sucks right now. And I keep telling you guys, it's a mindset. They don't see what they're doing wrong. They think it's you guys. And they probably feel like, too, you know what? Yeah, these guys are probably also watching AEW as well. See, if there's no AEW, they're not worried about anything else you might be watching. And you show them week after week you don't give a fuck about professional wrestling. You only care to criticize, and you only care about what the WWE is doing. And the fact of the matter is, you retards that's full of hate don't want to see AEW accomplish shit. And you don't want to see them do anything good. And that's why you pretend you don't watch. Yet, you always use them as a measuring stick, and you seem to know what's going on, right? You watch. And don't say, you just watch highlights. No, motherfucker. You watch. But the bitch inside of you don't want you to admit it. Why? Because you talk all of this bullshit. Oh, they don't have storylines. Stop watching it then. And just keep watching these little Peter Pan, Mickey Mouse ass stories that WWE keep making that you keep complaining about, saying there is no story. Right. Because you got grown men fighting over Ula followers and bracelets. Have you seen CM Punk with that fucking bracelet one time since he's won it back? Have you even seen Roman Reigns with that fucking Ula follower one time since he's got it back? 2, why is he not the head of the bloodline again? Because I thought that's what all that was, right? The winner, head of the table. And what happened? That story went nowhere. But that's what you call a storyline. Mommy, Daddy, tell me a story. You little kids, man. Anyway, that's all I got for you right now. I will catch you guys on the next video.